Hey everybody, it's Tzayla, and welcome back to Off Key and On Pitch, your backstage pass to the unfiltered world of music. Today's topic is one of the most important and honestly one of the most ignored parts of being an artist. Income streams. Because here is the thing, if you want to make music for the long haul, you can't just hope the money works out. You need to know exactly where it's going to come from, and before you roll your eyes and say, "Oh, I know, streaming and shows, right?" No. Well, yes, but also no. That's like saying, "Oh, I know how to make a cake, flour and sugar, right?" You're technically correct, but you're also missing the eggs, the butter, the frosting, all the good stuff that makes the cake actually work. So today we're going to go dive deep, and I'm going to walk you through all the main ways artists can make money, how they work, what the pros and cons are, and how to actually get started in each one, even if you're starting from scratch. So let's jump in. I want you to picture your music career like a table. Each income stream is one leg of that table. If you've only got one leg, say live gigs, and something happens, like you get sick, venues close, a tour gets canceled, your table collapses. But if your table has 5, 6, 7 legs, you can lose one and still stay standing. This is especially important in the music industry where the rules change constantly. Streaming payouts drop, social media algorithms tank your reach, touring costs go up. The safest path is diversification, spreading your earning potential across different sources so you're never relying on just one. Let's start with what everyone knows, streaming. Now, streaming is important, but here's the thing. It's not the end game. It's the gateway. It gets your music into ears all around the world, but it's not going to pay your rent on its own, unless you're pulling in millions of streams. Spotify, for example, pays roughly 3 to 5 tenths of a penny per stream. That means you need about 250,000 streams just to make $1,000. Apple Music is a little better, Bandcamp is far more artist-friendly, but still, most of your money won't come from here. Use streaming to attract fans and then guide them toward the areas where you actually earn more: merch, shows, and fan support. Now, speaking of shows, live performances are one of the fastest ways to generate cash flow, and I'm not just talking about traditional concerts. There are festivals, private events like weddings and corporate parties, even house concerts. In fact, house shows can sometimes be the most profitable because people are in a more intimate setting, they're hanging out, and they're way more likely to buy merch. Private gigs, now those are the unsung heroes. I've seen small local acts make $300 to $1,000 for a single night. And then there's busking. Yep, street performances. In a busy tourist area, you can walk away with a couple $100s in just a couple hours. The trick is to think beyond the cool gigs and focus on the ones that actually support your career. And this brings me to merch. Merch is one of the highest profit margins you'll ever get as an artist. A shirt that costs you $7 to print can easily sell for $25. Stickers, hoodies, hats, vinyls, tote bags, all of these are ways to make money and market yourself all at the same time. Here is a little tip though, don't just slap your logo on a t-shirt and call it a day. Make something people want to wear. Even if they don't know your music, if your merch looks like fashion, it can actually attract new listeners who buy it for the design and then go check you out later. All right, now we're going to talk about a gold mine that way too many artists ignore: licensing and sync. This is when your music gets used in TV shows, films, commercials, or video games. One placement can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and not only do you get paid up front, you might even get royalties every time it airs as well. If you want to get into sync, there are a few things you absolutely need: high quality recordings, clean instrumental versions of your songs, and tracks that are easy to license, meaning no uncleared samples and preferably minimal swearing. You can start by submitting to libraries like Artlist, MusicBed, or Audio Jungle, or by reaching out to sync agencies independently. Next up, fan funding. Platforms like Patreon, Kickstarter, GoFundMe, and Buy Me a Coffee are incredible tools for turning listeners into investors in your art. The trick here is not just to ask for money. Give your fans something valuable in return. That might be early access to your songs, behind-the-scene videos, or private live streams. And don't underestimate the power of personal connection. When people feel like they're a part of your journey, they're way more likely to support you financially. Now let's talk about something that's not as glamorous, but can be a steady bread and butter income stream: teaching and services. If you play an instrument, sing, write songs, or produce, you can offer lessons or coaching. You can also do mixing, mastering, or session work for other artists. And the beauty is, you can do most of this remotely now. Zoom lessons, sending files back and forth. You're not limited by your location anymore. And then there's free money. I'm talking about grants and competitions. They exist. Many cities and states have art funding programs that will literally pay you to create. There are also songwriting contests with cash prizes. The key here is simply applying. I can't tell you how many artists miss out because they think, oh, I'll never get it. Apply anyway. You'd be surprised how often the people who just show up win by default. Another overlooked income stream is YouTube. Even if you're not a YouTuber, you can make money from ad revenue, channel memberships, and sponsorships. And YouTube pays per view, in many cases more than streaming services pay per listen. Plus, videos live forever online. A tutorial or performance you post today could still be earning you money 5 years from now. Speaking of which, TikTok will also pay you, specifically for live streaming. Right now, you need about 1,000 followers before you can unlock live streaming, but once you're able to, I suggest dedicating about 6 hours each week to going live. I know many people who are able to easily make at least $5,000 off of TikTok each month from doing this. And here's the thing, those are just the main pillars. There are so many niche ways to make money in music once you start looking, like writing songs for other artists, selling beats or sample packs, doing arrangements or transcriptions, even exploring emerging spaces like NFTs and Web3 music projects. Now, here's my advice though. Don't try to do all of this at once. I'd say pick 2 or 3 streams to focus on first. Usually you want one fast income source like live shows or teaching, one long-term passive source like streaming or YouTube, and one big swing source like sync licensing or grants. Then, as those stabilize, start adding more. Building a sustainable music career is a long game. It takes strategy, but the more legs you give to your table, the more stable it becomes. And when you're not constantly worrying about where your next paycheck is coming from, you can focus on what you actually got into this industry for, making the art you love. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow music nerds. If you have any questions or if there's something I mentioned today that you would like for me to do a deeper dive on, please go ahead and leave it in the comments or DM me on Instagram at tzayla.official. You can find more episodes like this, my blog, and my music at tzayla.com. That's tzayla.com, Tzayla.com. You can also follow my music journey on Instagram and TikTok as well. If you take one thing away from today, though, let it be that you're not just an artist. You're a creative entrepreneur. So build your art, but also build your business. Keep creating, keep growing, keep finding new ways to turn your passion into your paycheck, and keep dreaming big. I'm Tzayla, and adventure sounds like this.